Per John Morosi, the Toronto Blue Jays are showing interest in Michael A. Taylor, so let's talk about what makes him a potential fit for the Jays. You probably know him best from his catch against Matt Chapman in the Wild Card Series this past year, or his rather nightmarish debut back in 2014 when he went 0 for 5 with 5 swinging strikeouts and the game-losing error. But Michael A. Taylor is more than that and could be an intriguing fit for the Jays. In 2023, Taylor featured in 129 games, posting a rather underwhelming average and on base, but showed great power with 14 doubles and 21 home runs, which would have been second best on the entire Jays team last year. Another interesting aspect of his offensive game is his ability to hit left-handed pitching fairly well, something our outfield wasn't too great at last year. Fun fact, did you know we only had one lefty-on-lefty home run in 2023, and that was off the bat of Kevin Kiermaier in Colorado. Yeah, safe to say we could use some power against lefties in our outfield. And for Taylor's career, he's fared better against lefties with a 118 OPS plus compared to just 93 against righties. This is further reinforced with the stats this past year. Versus lefties, he had a 149 OPS plus. He also slugged 9 homers against them and 12 versus righties, despite facing lefties in less than half the at-bats he had against righties. That level of production against southpaws was severely lacking all season long from the Jays outfield. Take a look at this. Merrifield against lefties had just a 255 average, 3 home runs, and a 97 OPS plus. Kiermaier just a 92 OPS plus and only 1 home run. George Springer had just 4 homers and a 95 OPS plus. And finally, Dalton Varsho, who was an exception here because he actually had reverse splits and did better against lefties in terms of OPS plus, but he hit all 20 of his home runs against righties, none versus lefties. That's why Taylor could be of interest as a 4th outfielder here, because he brings a much needed lefty dominating bat in that outfield. This is especially handy because if the Jays miss out on Bellinger and go for Jock Peterson, which has been rumored, then we could start Taylor over him versus lefties, since Peterson has struggled mightily against them in his career. Another reason why he fits the Jays is because, come on, he is exactly what a Ross Atkins signing is, and would continue their recent trend of trying to be the best at preventing runs. For Taylor's career, he owns 1.5 defensive WAR per 162 games, and in the past 3, he's been even better, averaging 2.7. Looking elsewhere at his defensive stats, in 2021, he ranked in the 99th percentile for outs above average, which is a range-based metric of skill that shows how many outs a player is saved. In 2022, he ranked in the 88th percentile, still elite, and in 2023, he ranked in the 95th. The level of defense he provides could help us immensely late in a tight game to hold down a lead, or when you could get a spot start. The only problem I see with signing Michael A. Taylor is maybe Ross will make him an everyday guy like what we saw with Kevin Kiermaier last year. Not saying KK was bad, he was actually one of the best in terms of WAR, but I think we need to sacrifice some defense for more offense. Now let's see if we could actually sign him. At his best, he's a 2 to 3 WAR player. That type of guy is not a 4th outfielder, and let's be honest, he could find an everyday gig somewhere else, meaning we'd have to sway him pretty heavily with the fact that we are gearing up for a World Series run. Another drawback of him is the fact that he may be looking exclusively at a 2-year deal. On Spotrac, he's valued at 2 years, $7 million annually. For me, I would only offer a 1-year deal at $7 to $8 million and hope he signs. If he doesn't, then don't offer him another year and look elsewhere to fill that 4th outfielder role. But all in all, my initial reaction when reports came out saying we were talking to him was extremely excited. Not because he's a game changer, but the fact that when I was planning out my blueprint for the Blue Jays offseason, I had him written in there. So it's cool to see that the Jays have at least thought about it too. And if you want to check out that video when it comes out later this week, then hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for another great video just like this one.